Most people go through life hoping things will change without ever changing themselves. They wait for motivation to show up. They wait for confidence to grow. They wait for the right time. But nothing changes if you don't take control. I'm not here to tell you to wait anymore. I'm here to dare you to push yourself harder than you ever have. For one full month, 30 days, where you stop making excuses and start becoming the person you were meant to be. This isn't about being perfect. This is about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing the work most people avoid. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 simple but powerful steps that will force you to grow. One of those steps is about facing your fears head on, not thinking about it, not planning it, but doing it every single day. That one habit alone can change your life. If you've been feeling stuck, if you're tired of falling back into old patterns, if you know deep down that you can do more with your life, then stay right here. This isn't just a video. It's a challenge. It's a decision. It's your turning point, and it starts now. Number 1, wake up early every day and face your thoughts. You've been tired before, tired of wasting time, tired of not feeling proud of how you're spending your days. You've sat alone in your room, maybe in silence, maybe with noise in the background, but deep inside, you knew something was off, something was missing. And you've thought to yourself, maybe not out loud, but deep in your gut, you thought, I can do more than this. I can be more than this. And that's where it begins. Not with a big announcement, not with a cheering crowd, not with someone handing you a blueprint. It begins with a decision, a quiet, powerful decision, one that happens in the most private room in your world, your own mind. I'm asking you to do something today that most people avoid. I'm daring you. I'm not asking nicely. I'm daring you. I dare you to work on yourself for 1 month, 30 days, and I don't mean casually. I mean seriously. I mean with everything you've got. No fluff, no game, no skipping the hard parts. And it all starts with one very simple and very uncomfortable step. Wake up early every day and face your thoughts. Now you might hear that and think, that sounds basic. It's not. It's raw. It's real. And it's hard. Because waking up early doesn't just mean changing your alarm clock. It means changing how you face life. When you wake up early, something changes in you. You're no longer just reacting to the world. You're showing up ahead of the chaos. You're choosing to start your day on your terms. And more than that, you're making a statement to yourself that you matter. Your life matters. Your time matters. And your mind deserves your attention. Let me be clear. This isn't about becoming a morning person. It's about becoming a better person. This isn't about having a nice routine. It's about breaking free from the autopilot life you've been living. The version of you that snoozes the alarm 6 times and stumbles out of bed because there's no real reason to get up. This version of you is comfortable, but not fulfilled. And deep down you know that. So I'm challenging you to do what's hard. I'm challenging you to get up earlier than you usually do. Maybe it's 5 a.m. Maybe it's 6. The number doesn't matter. What matters is that you choose a time that makes you uncomfortable. A time that forces you to rise before the world starts pulling you in all directions. A time that belongs to no one else but you. When you wake up early and you sit in silence, something powerful happens. You meet the real you. No distractions, no noise, no pretending. Just you and your thoughts. And for many people that's terrifying. Because we've gotten used to avoiding ourselves. We've mastered the art of running from our own minds. We wake up late, check our phones, rush into the day and never stop to ask, what am I really feeling? What am I doing with my life? Why am I stuck? But when you face your thoughts first thing in the morning, you stop hiding. You stop lying to yourself. You look in the mirror of your own mind and you see the truth. Maybe you'll realize you've been angry or disappointed or scared. Maybe you'll admit that you've been lazy or disconnected or just plain lost. And you know what? That's okay. That's where change begins. Not with fake positivity, not with repeating someone else's quotes, but with facing the truth of where you are. The first few mornings will be tough. You'll want to go back to sleep. Your body will protest. Your mind will try to bargain. But the reason it feels uncomfortable is because you're doing something new. You're breaking a pattern. You're teaching yourself that growth is more important than comfort. And what do you do once you're up? You sit, you think, you listen, you write, you ask questions that matter. You start simple. How am I really doing? Not the fake answer you give other people. The real one. What am I afraid of? What have I been putting off? What do I want my life to feel like? Write it down. Not for social media, for you. Make your mind a safe place again. Make it a place where honesty lives. Because when you face your thoughts first thing in the morning, you're not just thinking, you're healing. You're repairing what life may have damaged. You're giving yourself the gift of clarity. You'll start to notice things, patterns, stories you've been telling yourself for years that no longer serve you. You'll catch yourself blaming others. You'll see where you've been making excuses. And here's where it gets real. When you see it, you can fix it. Not overnight, but one step at a time. Waking up early teaches you that you are in control of your life. It teaches you discipline. Not the kind that comes from force. The kind that comes from respect. Self-respect. You start to respect your own time, your own space, your own energy. And the more you do it, the more you realize this is how growth works. Not with fireworks, but with quiet, consistent, uncomfortable choices. Some people won't understand. They'll say, "Why are you doing this?" They might even laugh. That's fine. Let them laugh. You're not doing this for them. You're doing it for the version of you that's been buried under all the noise, the doubt, the fear, the disappointment. That version of you deserves to come back to life. You do this every day for a month, and you'll start to feel different, not just physically, emotionally, mentally. You'll notice your confidence rising, not from achievements, but from the fact that you kept a promise to yourself. That's real confidence. Confidence isn't loud. It's quiet. It's built when no one is watching. You'll start to see the difference between reacting and responding, between wishing and working, between avoiding and facing. And you'll feel something you might not have felt in a long time. Pride. Not the fake kind. Not the kind you post about. The kind you feel in your chest when you realize you're finally showing up for yourself. The truth is, most people won't do this. Not because they can't, but because they won't. It's easier to stay busy. It's easier to blame. It's easier to stay asleep. Literally and mentally. But that's not the life you want. If you're watching this, you want something more. You want to feel alive again. You want to feel in control again. And it starts in the first hour of your day. What you do with your mornings tells the truth about your life. If you start your day in chaos, the rest of the day follows. But if you start it with honesty, with presence, with intention, you take your power back, and nobody can take that from you. So try it. Not someday. Tomorrow morning. Set your alarm. Get up when it goes off. No excuses. No snooze button. Sit with yourself. Think. Write. Ask yourself the hard questions. And do it again the next day. And the next, for 30 days. Not because it's trendy. Not because someone told you to. Because you owe it to yourself. This isn't just a challenge. It's a wake-up call. Literally and figuratively. You've been asleep in your own life for too long. It's time to wake up. It's time to take control. It's time to build a life you're proud of, one morning at a time. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to get everything right. You just need to show up every day for 1 month, 30 days of meeting yourself in the morning, 30 days of not running, 30 days of choosing growth over comfort. You're stronger than you think, smarter than you've believed, more capable than you've shown. But none of that matters until you take action. So this is your chance, your moment, your starting point. Wake up early. Face your thoughts. Build a better you. I dare you. Number 2, cut off distractions and focus fully on your goals. You've got goals in your heart. dreams in your head, and you know deep down there's more inside you, but you're stuck. Not because you're lazy, not because you're not capable. You're stuck because you're distracted. You're pulled in 100 directions every single day, and it's stealing the energy, time, and focus that should belong to your future. There's a reason you feel like you're not getting anywhere. It's not because you lack talent. It's because you're surrounded by noise. Notifications, messages, endless scrolling, pointless conversations, constant interruptions. And somewhere in the middle of it all, your goals are sitting in the corner, waiting for you to come back to them, waiting for you to finally say, that's enough. You cannot create a powerful life in the middle of constant distraction. It's not possible. Your goals require full attention, not half of your attention, not the bits and pieces left over at the end of the day. They require your best focus, your sharpest thinking, your clearest mind. And to get that, you have to make a decision. You have to cut off the noise. You have to say no to the things that are slowly draining you. And that's not easy, because distraction doesn't always look like a problem. It often looks like entertainment, like something harmless, but it's a thief in disguise. It steals your minutes, then your hours, then your clarity, then your life. The truth is, nobody's coming to take the distractions away from you. You have to remove them yourself. And yes, it's uncomfortable, because distraction is familiar. It gives you something to do when you don't want to face the pressure of your own goals. It gives you an escape, but that escape is costing you your progress. Every time you give in to it, you fall a little further behind. Every time you scroll when you should be creating, every time you watch when you should be building, every time you check out when you should be tuning in, your dream pays the price. So ask yourself this: what do I want more, comfort or progress? Because you can't have both. Comfort comes with distraction. Progress comes with focus. The moment you choose to focus, everything changes. You begin to move. You begin to build. You begin to feel proud again. Start simple. Pick one goal that truly matters to you. Not 100, just one. Something that means enough to you, that it deserves your time. And then clear the space to focus on it. That means turning your phone off. Not just putting it down. Turning it off. That means closing the tabs. Turning off the noise. And being fully present with your work. Not halfway in, all the way in. You don't need perfect conditions. You need undivided attention. If you can give your full focus for even 1 hour a day to something that matters, your life will change in ways you can't imagine. Because progress compounds. The more you give to your goal, the more energy it gives back to you. You begin to see results. You feel the momentum. And that momentum feeds your belief. And belief feeds your action. That's how real change happens. You've got to be honest with yourself. What's pulling you away from your purpose? Who's keeping you distracted? What habits are keeping you average? You cannot fix what you're not willing to face. You got to be willing to say, I've been wasting time. I've been letting too much in. And I'm done. This is not about cutting out fun or living like a robot. It's about living with clarity. It's about taking control of what enters your mind, what pulls your time, what gets your energy. Because the truth is, you don't have unlimited energy. You don't have unlimited time. Every single day, you're choosing what you invest your life into. You're either feeding your goals or feeding your distractions. And every choice matters. The moment you take your focus seriously is the moment you begin to separate yourself. Because most people won't do it. Most people want results without focus. They want success without sacrifice. But the people who rise, the people who win, the people who build something they're proud of, those are the ones who do the uncomfortable thing. They unplug, they get quiet, they simplify, they eliminate what doesn't matter so they can give their all to what does. And here's what happens when you really focus. You get clear. You know what you're doing and why you're doing it. You stop chasing everything and start building something. You stop reacting to life and start creating. You begin to work with intensity, with power, with purpose. Not because someone told you to, but because you finally made space to think clearly. And clarity is a force. It gives you energy. It removes doubt. It makes you dangerous in the best way. When you cut off distractions, you're not just saying no to something small. You're saying yes to your future. You're saying yes to your growth. You're telling yourself, I'm done with being average. I'm ready to become who I was meant to be. But don't just talk about it. Do it. Look at your environment. What's in your space that's holding you back? Who do you keep letting interrupt your day? What apps are you giving hours to for no reason? Make a list. Be honest and start cutting. Not later. Now. You don't have to cut everything forever. You just have to stop giving everything your time right now. Because your time is not neutral. It's either building you or breaking you. It's either taking you towards your goal or pulling you further away. And the crazy part is, most people don't even realize they spend years in distraction and wake up one day wondering where the time went. Don't be that person. Wake up now. Start today. Block out a window of time where nothing gets in. Not messages, not calls, not noise, just you and your goal. Set a clear target. Work on it with full presence and do it again tomorrow and the next day. Not perfectly, but consistently. You'll be shocked at what you can build in a short time. With focused effort. 1 month of pure focus can do more than a year of half-hearted effort. Not because you're doing more, but because you're doing what matters. You're not wasting energy anymore. You're aiming it. And when your energy has direction, you become powerful. This is your edge. This is your advantage. Not talent, not resources, not connections. Focus. Pure, relentless focus on what matters. And once you get a taste of what that feels like, you won't want to go back. Because you'll remember what it feels like to be in control. You'll remember what it feels like to be proud of how you spend your time. You'll look at your progress and know you earned this, every inch of it. So cut the distractions. Not because it's a nice idea, because it's the only way to win. Focus on your goals like your future depends on it. Because it does. You've been scattered long enough. It's time to zero in. It's time to lock in. It's time to become who you said you'd be. No more excuses, no more delays, no more wasted days. Make the decision today. Focus like your life depends on it. Because the life you want is waiting, but only if you're focused enough to build. Number 3. Push your body hard with daily intense exercise. There's something you learn about yourself when you push your body to its limit. Not when you stretch lightly or go through the motions, but when you move with real force and real effort every single day. Most people never reach that point because most people stop at discomfort. But if you want to grow, if you want to become someone you can respect deeply, then you've got to stop living like your body is a machine meant only for survival. Your body is the first place your discipline shows up, and the last place where excuses should live. People don't realize how much of their emotional and mental power is directly connected to their physical effort. When your body is weak, your mind starts playing games. It tells you you're tired when you're just untrained. It tells you you're overwhelmed when you're just underprepared. And that cycle keeps going until one day you start to believe that's who you are. But it's not. That's who you've become. Because you've gone too long without challenging yourself physically. Every person walking around with low confidence, poor focus, or lack of motivation is missing something essential. Movement with intensity, not a walk around the block, not a half-hearted stretch. I'm talking about daily exercise that makes your heart race and your muscles burn. The kind that makes you breathe hard and pushes you into the zone where quitting feels easier than continuing. But you keep going. That's where you discover grit. That's where you learn how to endure pain on purpose. That's where you earn pride. You don't build self-respect by avoiding what's hard. You build it by choosing it. And one of the most direct, powerful, and honest ways to do that is through physical intensity. It doesn't require talent. It doesn't require fancy equipment. It just requires a decision. A decision to move your body every single day like your life depends on it. And here's the truth. Your life does depend on it. Not just physically, but emotionally. The days you move your body with effort are the days you think clearer, the days your mood lifts, the days your mind sharpens. It's not magic, it's cause and effect. When you push your body, you unlock energy that was buried under laziness. You uncover strength that you didn't know existed, and that strength doesn't stay in the gym. It follows you into your work, your relationships, your self-talk, and your choices. Nobody is coming to force you to sweat. You have to want it. You have to wake up and say, I owe this to myself, not for a look in the mirror, not for social approval, for your own internal power. Because when you push through exhaustion, when you show up on the days you don't feel like it, when you give more than you thought you could, You prove something. You prove that you are not run by emotions. You are run by value. And one of those values becomes this: I do hard things on purpose every single day. Start where you are. You don't need to be an athlete. You just need to move with purpose. If all you can do is a 20-minute workout, do it with intensity. If all you have is a small room, use it fully. Your environment doesn't matter nearly as much as your decision to give your best effort. And the more you do this, the more your body starts to work with you instead of against you. It becomes an ally instead of a burden. You will start to notice a change, not just in your body, but in your decisions. The more you push yourself physically, the less tolerance you have for weak thinking. You stop letting yourself off the hook. Stop waiting for motivation. You stop looking for easy ways out, and you begin to demand more from every area of your life. Because you know what it feels like to struggle and win. Intensity is not about comparison. It's about honesty. Are you really giving everything you have today? Or are you saving energy for comfort? You already know the answer. The body doesn't lie. It tells you when you've coasted. It tells you when you've pushed. And when you train with daily intensity, you stop hiding. You start facing your limits and breaking them. One of the best decisions you will ever make is to make physical effort a non-negotiable part of your day. No matter what's going on, no matter how busy or tired you are, because that consistency teaches you something vital. You are in control of how you show up, not your schedule, not your emotions, not your circumstances. You some days will feel heavy. Some days your body will resist. But the magic isn't in how you feel. It's in what you choose. When you show up anyway, when you grind through anyway, when you finish strong anyway, that's when the real change happens. You build a toughness that cannot be bought or borrowed. And you carry that toughness into every other part of your life. Your goals are not going to wait for you to feel ready. They are waiting for you to take yourself serious. And taking yourself seriously means taking your physical state seriously. You can't have strong results with a weak foundation. And your body is your foundation. You live in it. You work through it. You experience life through it. So if you're serious about becoming better, then your body has to be part of that plan. Don't fall into the trap of believing you can fix everything with just mindset. The mind and the body are not separate. When your body is pushed daily, your mind follows. You begin to think with precision. You begin to operate with calm. You stop overreacting. You stop overthinking. Why? Because you already emptied the stress through sweat. You already released the tension through movement. You already fought through difficulty on your own terms. That is the power of daily physical effort. There is a version of you that exists on the other side of exhaustion. A version that walks taller, thinks clearer, acts stronger. And it doesn't come from waiting. It comes from effort. It comes from showing up and pushing your body when it's easier to stay still. It comes from choosing struggle every day so that life's struggle doesn't own you. You don't need permission to begin. You don't need a coach yelling in your face. You need one reason to care enough about your own growth that you'll stop playing small with your health. You get one body, one system, one tool to experience life with. If you don't take care of it, you'll pay the price, not just later, but now. Low energy, poor focus, weak performance. It all shows up fast, but so does strength. If you build it, so build it. One day at a time. Push hard. Feel your lungs stretch. Let your muscles burn. Welcome the discomfort. Not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. Train your body with the same intensity you want to train your future. And do it daily. Not once a week, not when it's convenient. Daily. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be consistent. You need to give effort that matches the life you say you want. If you want to feel strong, act strong. If you want to be focused, get up and move. If you want to lead your life with purpose, stop letting your body operate on autopilot. This is your edge. This is where you take your power back. Push your body with daily intense exercise and watch how everything else in your life begins to change. You'll stand differently, think differently, decide differently. Not because someone told you to, but because you built yourself from the ground up. And that kind of growth, no one can take that away from you. Number 4, write down your mistakes and learn from them fast. Most people are afraid to face their mistakes. They hide from them, ignore them, cover them up, or blame someone else. But I'll tell you the truth. Your mistakes are some of the most valuable things you have. Not because they feel good, not because they're easy to deal with, but because they show you exactly where you're falling short and what needs to change. The faster you learn to face them, the faster you grow. The more you avoid them, the longer you stay stuck in the same patterns, living the same day over and over again. Growth doesn't come from pretending you did everything right. It comes from looking directly at what went wrong and asking yourself why it happened. Not to beat yourself up, not to feel guilty, but to understand it clearly. Because you cannot improve what you refuse to admit. You can't get stronger by lying to yourself. You have to be willing to stop, look back, and say, here's where I made a bad decision. Here's what I should have done. And here's what I'm going to do differently. But it's not enough to just think about your mistakes. Your mind moves too fast, and it forgets too easily. If you're serious about becoming better, you have to write them down. Get a notebook, open a page, and put the truth on paper. No fluff, no sugarcoating, just raw, honest detail about what happened, what you did, and how it played out. The act of writing slows your thoughts down and forces you to take responsibility. You can't run from it once it's in front of you. When you write something down, you separate the emotion from the lesson. You stop spinning in your head and start thinking clearly. You stop carrying shame and start seeing the mistake as information. That's what you need. Information. Why did I miss that deadline? Why did I react with anger? Why did I avoid that opportunity? These questions have answers, but you won't get to the answers if you stay passive. You've got to investigate your own behavior like your future depends on it. Because it does. Most people repeat the same mistakes, not because they're dumb, but because they never study their failures. They get uncomfortable, they shut down, and they move on. And that cycle keeps them stuck in the same results. If you want to break the cycle, then you have to pause and reflect. Every mistake you make is a chance to get sharper, wiser, and faster. But only if you're willing to extract the lesson from it quickly. Speed matters. The faster you learn, the faster you recover. The faster you recover, the more you grow. If you waste 3 weeks being angry about a failure, you lose 3 weeks of progress. But if you write it down the same day, study what went wrong, and adjust your approach, you turn a setback into fuel. You stop losing time. You stop dragging pain into the future. You feel the sting. You understand the cause, and then you move on with a smarter plan. Mistakes will always happen. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to make every call correctly, but your power is in your response. You can either let your mistakes defeat you or develop you. The people who win in life are not the people who avoid failure. They're the ones who respond to failure with honesty, speed, and intention. They don't waste time defending their ego. They get to work, learning and adjusting. Write it all down. Not just the surface level mistake, but the whole chain of events. What triggered it? What you were thinking? What you were feeling? What your intention was? What actually happened? Where you lost control? Where you gave in? What signals you ignored? And once it's written down, you'll start to see a pattern. And that pattern is your key to growth. Because mistakes are never random. There's a reason behind each one. If you can see the pattern, you can break it. This kind of self-awareness is what separates amateurs from professionals in every area of life. The people who improve the fastest are the ones who reflect the deepest. They don't just experience failure. They study it. They become students of their own behavior. And because of that, they develop faster than everyone else around them. Writing down your mistakes is not weakness. It's strength. It shows that you care more about your progress than your pride. It shows that you value improvement over comfort. It shows that you're not afraid to admit where you've gone wrong. because you believe you can get it right next time. And that belief is everything. There's something freeing about seeing your failures in black and white. When it's on paper, it becomes something you can fix. You take the fear out of it. You take the power back. You say, yes, I failed, but I'm not finished. I'm learning. I'm improving. And I'm coming back better. And the more you do this, the faster you start to catch your mistakes in real time. You start noticing when you're about to fall into the same pattern. You start hearing the excuses in your head before they come out of your mouth. You start choosing better actions because you've done the work of understanding your old ones. That's growth. That's real change. Don't wait until things fall apart. Don't wait until the pain gets unbearable. Make reflection a daily habit. Set aside time each evening to review the day. Ask yourself, what did I do well? What could I have done better? Where did I fall short? What will I do differently tomorrow? Write it down. Keep track. Build your own personal playbook of growth. And don't get caught up in being perfect. You won't be. That's not the point. The point is progress. The point is taking control of your learning process. If you mess up today, fine. Learn from it tonight and attack it better tomorrow. That kind of mindset is unstoppable. It doesn't matter what life throws at you. You adapt, you improve, you evolve. So many people waste years hiding from their own behavior. They point fingers. They live in denial. And they wonder why nothing changes. Don't let that be you. Be the kind of person who faces reality head on. Be the kind of person who owns every mistake. Not with shame, but with courage. Because when you do that, you're no longer a victim of your circumstances. You become the Ikit of your life. This is one of the simplest habits you can build, and one of the most powerful. A notebook and a pen. That's it. Every night, every week, whenever something goes wrong, write it down. Get the lesson. Build the awareness. Adjust your actions. And then go again. Stronger than before. Your future self is watching you right now. Hoping you'll take this seriously. Hoping you'll stop hiding behind distractions and start doing the work. And that work starts with awareness, not surface level reflection. Deep, clear, honest reflection. Not once a year, every day. If you want a better life, this is how you build it. Not by waiting, not by hoping, by learning, quickly, consistently, with purpose. So get to it. Own your mistakes, study them, use them, and grow from them. Fast. Number 5. Track your habits daily and hold yourself accountable. If you want real change in your life, start by getting serious about what you do every single day. Not once in a while, not when you feel inspired. Every day. Because success isn't one big moment. It's not a speech, a deal, or a breakthrough. It's a long series of small, repeated choices, stacked on top of each other, until they form a new version of you. And the only way to take control of those choices is to track them, not in your head, not by memory, but in writing, every day, with full honesty. People say they want growth. They say they want success, but they don't even know what they're doing with their time. They have no record, no system, no way to look back and see if they're actually improving or just lying to themselves. And that's where so many people get lost. They confuse intentions with results. Just because you thought about doing the right thing doesn't mean you did it. Just because you want to improve doesn't mean you are. What gets measured gets better. What doesn't slowly falls apart without you even noticing. Tracking your habits is not about being perfect. It's about being awake. It's about living with awareness. It's about looking at your life in the mirror and saying, here's what I said I would do. Here's what I actually did. That kind of honesty is rare. Most people hide from it. But if you want to grow, you have to seek it out. Because when you track your behavior, you stop guessing. You start learning. You start seeing the patterns, what time you give up, what triggers you to slip, what days you rise strong, and what days you drop the ball. You cannot fix what you don't notice. You cannot improve what you don't measure. You don't get better just by wanting to. You get better by watching yourself. And the most powerful way to do that is to track your habits daily. Write them down. Choose the few key actions that move your life forward and put them on paper. Then every night, ask one question. Did I follow through today? Not tomorrow, not next week, today. The act of tracking forces clarity. It tells you what matters. It makes you decide what you're committed to and what you're still making excuses about. It doesn't take long, just a few minutes a day, but the impact is massive. You'll start seeing yourself differently. You'll stop overestimating how hard you're working. You'll stop forgetting your progress, and you'll start holding yourself to a higher standard. That's the second part, accountability. Tracking without accountability is just a journal. It's a story of what happened, but when you add accountability, it becomes fuel for action. Holding yourself accountable means that you stop letting yourself slide. You stop telling soft stories. You stop blaming time, mood, or stress. And you start saying this: I either did it or I didn't. And if I didn't, I will fix it now. You don't need someone else to watch over you. You don't need a coach in your ear every day. You need to look yourself in the eye through that page or that chart and ask if you're living with discipline, because that's what this is about. Not just tracking, but leading yourself, becoming your own coach, calling yourself out when you're off course, celebrating when you're locked in, and always pushing for better. It doesn't matter what you use: a notebook, an app, a calendar. What matters is that it's daily, that it's consistent, that it's honest, and that it's clear. You can track exercise, nutrition, sleep, reading, work hours, planning, gratitude, whatever matters most to your goals. Keep it simple. Focus on what moves the needle in your life, and then commit to checking those boxes every day. Don't fall into the trap of tracking everything for a week and then quitting. That's just another way of hiding. Long-term growth comes from long-term attention. Stay with it, even when it's boring, even when you mess up, especially then. The power of tracking is not just in success, it's in recovery. When you slip, your habit tracker shows you how fast you got back up. That's what builds confidence. Not being perfect, but being consistent over time. And don't wait for motivation. Don't track only when life is easy. Build the habit of tracking when you're tired, when you're busy, when things aren't going right. That's when the real growth happens. When you keep showing up, even when your feelings don't match your goals. That's how you separate yourself from the crowd. That's how you build identity. You stop being someone who tries. You become someone who executes daily. There's something powerful about checking off a box at the end of the day. It's a signal to yourself that you followed through, that you owned your day, that you respected your commitment. And on the days you miss, and there will be days you miss, you don't hide. You look at the page, you look at the blank box, and you make a decision. I'm not letting that happen tomorrow. This isn't just about success. It's about self-respect. When you track your habits and hold yourself accountable, you start treating yourself like someone who matters. You start protecting your time. You stop letting distractions steal your focus. You stop living on autopilot. You wake up. You lock in. You start choosing your behavior instead of reacting to everything around you. Most people drift. They go day to day without any record of what they did, what they learned, what they improved, and they wonder why they feel stuck. You don't have to live like that. You can take ownership. You can build a scoreboard for your own life, and the scoreboard doesn't lie. It tells you exactly how you're doing, and it gives you the power to adjust. There's no shortcut here, just a simple truth. If you want to grow, you have to track. If you want to change, you have to take responsibility. And if you want to win, you have to be honest enough to measure what you're actually doing. So ask yourself right now, what habits would change my life if I did them every single day? Write them down. Set up your system and start tracking tonight. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for inspiration. Decide that your habits matter more than your excuses, because they do. Once you do this long enough, something powerful starts to happen. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to believe in your ability to follow through. You don't need outside validation. You don't need anyone check in. You've got the proof in front of you. You've got the results. You've got the data. And most of all, you've got the discipline. That's what this world rewards. Not wishes, not dreams, discipline. And it starts with one habit, one tracker, one day at a time. Stay consistent, stay honest, and don't just track your habits. Become the kind of person who lives by them daily, no matter what. Number 6, Speak honestly with one person about your struggles. Most people walk through life carrying more weight than they need to. Not on their backs, but inside. Quiet pain, private frustration, questions they don't have answers to, emotions they don't know how to express. They hide what's really going on because they think they're supposed to be strong, or they don't want to be judged, or they're afraid that nobody will understand. So they bottle it up. They smile when they want to cry. They say they're fine when they're not. And every time they do that, they add more pressure, more silence, more isolation. But real strength doesn't come from hiding your pain. It comes from being honest about it. Not with everyone, but with one person who cares enough to listen. One person who's not going to fix it, not going to judge you, but just hear you out. Someone who can remind you that you're not alone, that what you're feeling is human, and that it's okay to struggle. Because struggle is not failure. Struggle is proof that you're still in the fight. Speaking honestly doesn't make you weak. It makes you clear. It makes you free. It takes the confusion out of your head and puts it into words. It helps you stop spinning and start understanding what's really going on inside. That kind of honesty might feel uncomfortable at first. You might feel nervous. You might hesitate. But once you speak the truth, there's a release. The tension in your chest softens. Your thoughts settle. And for a moment, you feel real again. Not like someone pretending, but like someone owning their life. And the truth is, if you never say it out loud, you never really face it. Your pain stays vague. Your fears stay blurry. You can't deal with what you won't name. That's why this matters. When you open up, you're not just venting. You're facing reality. You're sorting through the noise. You're turning feelings into words and words into clarity. That's how you grow. That's how you move forward. We've been taught to stay quiet, to keep it together, to figure it out on our own. But that thinking keeps people trapped. It makes them feel like something's wrong with them for struggling. When the truth is everybody struggles. No matter how strong, how successful, how smart someone is, they have pain too. And you'll never know that until you start being honest yourself. Once you open up, something surprising happens. The person you're talking to starts opening up too. Walls come down. Real connection begins. And now instead of carrying pain alone, you're walking through it together. You don't have to tell your whole story to the world. You don't have to post about it online. You just need to choose one person. Someone you trust. Someone who's been there. Someone who's more than they talk. Reach out. Say you need a few minutes. Tell the truth. Even if your voice shakes, even if you don't know exactly what to say. Start where you are. Say, I've been going through something. Say, I don't feel like myself lately. Say, I don't know how to fix this, but I know I need to talk about it. That first sentence is the hardest, but once it's out, the pressure breaks, and you'll feel a strength in that moment that doesn't come from pretending you're okay. It comes from admitting that you're not and deciding to face it anyway. There's courage in that, and that courage will start changing how you carry yourself. You'll stop hiding. You'll stop fearing your own emotions. You'll start feeling lighter, not because your problems disappeared, but because you're not facing them alone anymore. You may think nobody will understand. You may believe your problems are too small, or too strange, or too shameful, but that's your fear talking. And fear loves to lie to you. It tells you that you're different, that you're too much, that nobody wants to hear it. But if you look close, you'll find that the people who care about you don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be real. They need to see the human behind the performance. That's what allows love, respect, and support to grow. When you speak honestly about your struggles, you don't just help yourself. You also give someone else permission to be honest about theirs. You create a space where truth is welcome, where emotions are allowed, where nobody has to fake anything. That's rare. That's powerful. And it can change everything. Because the moment you feel seen and heard, the healing begins. You can journal. You can think. You can pray. But nothing replaces the healing that happens when you say the words out loud to another person. Pain loses some of its grip when you stop hiding it, and solutions start to appear. When your thoughts are laid bare, in front of someone who's willing to sit with you through the discomfort. This doesn't mean you need therapy right now, though that's a powerful tool if you can access it. This is simpler. This is about human connection, about honesty, about trusting someone with your truth, just long enough to stop feeling alone in it. You don't need them to solve it. You just need them to care. And often that's more than enough. The longer you carry unspoken struggles, the heavier they get. They start shaping your behavior. They wear down your energy. They cloud your joy. And over time, they convince you that this is just how life is now. But that's not true. You can change. You can feel better. You can work through it. But you have to start by telling the truth. Even if you've been quiet for years, even if you think it's too late, it's not. Every moment of honesty is a step toward freedom. Every time you say what's really going on, you break the hold that fear and shame have over you. And that creates space for peace, for strength, for a better path forward. So who's that one person? Think about it. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a sibling. Maybe it's a mentor. Maybe it's someone you haven't talked to in a while, but you always felt safe around them. Reach out. Take the risk. Be honest. Even if you only share a little bit, share something. Because one honest conversation can do more for your growth than 100 days of silent struggle. You deserve that kind of support. And the people who care about you deserve to know what's really going on. You don't have to face everything alone. You were never meant to. So open up. Be real. Speak the truth. And watch how much lighter you feel the moment you stop pretending. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And it just might change your life. Number 7, read one real book that challenges your thinking. If you really want to grow, if you're serious about getting better, then one of the most powerful things you can do is read a real book that makes you uncomfortable. Not a book that tells you what you already know. Not a book that makes you feel smart for agreeing with it. A book that shakes your certainty. A book that forces you to think in new directions. A book that presses against your beliefs, your habits, your blind spots. Because if all you ever do is read things that make you feel good, you're not learning. You're just being entertained. Reading isn't just about collecting quotes or sounding smart. It's about changing the way you see. It's about letting someone else's words crack open a new understanding inside of you. Most people avoid that. They read surface level stuff. They scroll. They skim. They never go deep. But if you want depth in your life, you need depth in your input. And that starts with choosing one book that doesn't just inform you, it transforms you. It has to be a real book, not a blog, not a summary, not someone else's opinion about it. You need the full weight of the author's message, page by page. You need to sit with it, wrestle with it, let it challenge your mind. That's what makes you sharper. That's what pulls your thinking forward. And that's where most people fall short. They read what's easy, but easy reading rarely builds strong thinking. So ask yourself, when's the last time a book actually made you stop and think? When's the last time you read something that forced you to pause, to question, to reflect? That's the kind of book I'm talking about. The one that doesn't go down smooth. The one that leaves you thinking for hours, sometimes days. That's the kind of challenge that pushes you beyond where you are. There's a reason the people at the top of their game are always reading. Not because they're bored. Not because they need to look smart. Because they know that the battle is always in the mind. What you believe, what you focus on, how you process problems. Those are the things that shape your life, and reading forces you to sharpen all three. It's not enough to read what's trending. You need to go after the books that make you stronger. Books on philosophy, psychology, history, self-mastery. Books that make you uncomfortable because they expose the gap between who you are and who you could be. That's where the work begins. That's where growth lives. But growth won't happen if you're distracted while you read. It won't happen if you're half in and half out, checking your phone, reading 3 pages, and quitting. You've got to give it your full attention. Set aside time. Sit with the book. Read with purpose. Ask questions as you go. Highlight the tough parts. Write down what hits you. Don't just absorb, engage. The more active you're reading, the more it rewires you. Most people aren't willing to do that. They say they want to grow, but they won't even finish one real book. They consume noise all day. But they won't give an hour to deep thought. And they wonder why their life feels stuck, why their mind feels cluttered, why they don't have clarity. The answer is simple. They haven't fed their mind anything solid. They're living on mental junk food. A good book is not entertainment. It's a tool. It's a weapon. It can slice through confusion. It can clear away fear. It can show you the path when you feel lost, but only if you take it seriously. Only if you read not just for knowledge, but for application. Reading is only powerful if it changes your actions, if it leads to a shift in how you live, how you work, how you show up. You don't need to read 10 books this month. You just need one. One book that hits you where it hurts and wakes up something inside you. One book that asks more of you. That's enough. Because if it's the right book, it will shake up your entire mindset. It will challenge your excuses. It will force you to confront your own patterns. And if you feel resistance to reading a book like that, good. That resistance is a sign that it's exactly what you need. Your mind wants comfort. Your growth demands discomfort. That's why you have to lean into the challenge. Don't wait until you feel ready. You won't. Start now. Pick up the book. Start reading. Get uncomfortable. That's the only way forward. You might not agree with everything you read. That's okay. That's part of the value. When you disagree, you're forced to examine your own beliefs. You have to ask, why do I think the way I think? Is it still serving me? Is there a better way? That's how you evolve. That's how you stop thinking like the crowd and start thinking for yourself. You can't grow if you stay mentally passive. You have to challenge yourself, and the easiest way to do that right now is with a real book, not a highlight reel, not someone else's take. You need to go straight to the source, feel the full weight of the message, and let it do its work on you. Give yourself 1 month, one book, one full, honest, deep read. No skipping, no distractions, just you and the pages and your own uncomfortable thoughts. Read until something in you shifts. Read until you find the part of you that's been sleeping and you wake it up. And when that shift comes, capture it, write it down, act on it. Don't turn the last page and go back to the same thinking. Use what you learned. Change how you see things. Change what you do each day. That's the real reward of reading. Not information, but transformation. So if you're serious about improving, if you're tired of the surface level, then take this seriously. Go find a book that makes you think harder than you've thought in a long time. A book that digs into your mind and leaves something behind. Read it every day, even if it's just a few pages. Sit with the hard parts. Reflect on what challenges you. Push yourself to keep going. Because on the other side of that book, you're going to be sharper, clearer, stronger, and more prepared for the kind of life you say you want. Don't settle for mental comfort. Chase clarity, chase growth, chase truth, and start with one book today. Number 8, say no to comfort and choose what builds you. Most people don't realize how much comfort is holding them back. It's not loud, it doesn't scream, it whispers. It shows up as the little voice that says, do it later when you know you should do it now. It tells you to sleep a little longer, eat what feels good, avoid what's hard. It makes you feel safe in the moment, but slowly robs you of your strength. Because the truth is, comfort rarely builds anything. Comfort is maintenance. Growth only happens where effort is required. And the more you chase comfort, the less prepared you become for the reality of life. You cannot grow if you keep saying yes to what's easy. You can't develop real discipline, confidence, or grit while doing what feels good all the time. The strongest people are not the ones who had the easiest lives. They're the ones who got up when they didn't want to. They're the ones who chose the difficult road when no one was watching. They didn't look for shortcuts. They looked for what would make them stronger. They understood that pain and pressure are part of the process, and they welcomed it because they knew what it would turn them into. If you want to build yourself, you have to start saying no to the things that keep you in place. No to the second plate when you're already full. No to scrolling endlessly when your mind needs rest. No to the excuses you've told yourself for years. No to the thoughts that say this is good enough when you know deep down it isn't. Saying no to comfort isn't punishment. It's permission. Permission to grow. Permission to finally take control of your life instead of reacting to it. Most people don't want to admit how much comfort is costing them. They want change, but they don't want challenge. They want results, but not the process. They want success, but without the sweat. And that's why they stay the same. If you want a different life, you have to make different choices. You have to look at what you've been doing and be honest. Has it built you or has it weakened you? If it's not building you, it's breaking you. Slowly, quietly, day after day. You grow through challenge. You grow by making the hard decisions that most people avoid. You grow by choosing discomfort when you could have taken the easy way out. Waking up early when your bed is warm. Speaking you when it's easier to stay quiet. Putting in the extra reps when nobody's counting. Turning off distractions when everyone else is giving in. That's where strength is built. That's where real self-respect is formed. It's not what you do when it's easy. It's what you do when you don't feel like it. That's what shapes you. People look for motivation, but what they really need is clarity. Clarity about what they want and what it's going to take. If you want to change, then decide right now that comfort is no longer the standard. You're not here to live an average life. You're here to find out what you're made of. And that means you need to walk away from what's familiar and step into what's uncomfortable. Start with the little choices. Skip the quick pleasure that gives nothing back. Stand up here when your mind tells you to slouch. Speak your truth instead of hiding behind silence. Face your fear instead of turning away. The more you do that, the stronger you get. Not just physically, mentally, emotionally. You build resilience. You build character. You build the kind of presence that doesn't flinch under pressure. This isn't about punishing yourself. It's about becoming the kind of person you respect. It's about knowing that when the moment comes and something hard is required, you've trained for it. You've lived it. You've chosen it before. And you'll choose it again. Every time you pick what builds you over, what comforts you, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. And over time, those votes add up. The world is full of people who quit when it gets hard. People who say this is enough when it clearly isn't. People who settle for less because they don't want to feel the sting of discomfort. Don't join them. Choose to stand out. Choose to do what's rare. Most won't do it, but you can. Not because it's easy, not because it's fun, because it's right, because you know what's at stake, because you care about your future more than you care about temporary ease. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your teacher. It will show you what you're made of. It will reveal your limits and then dare you to go beyond them. But only if you're willing to lean in. Only if you stop protecting yourself from every little pain. Growth isn't found in the soft moments. It's found in the fire, in the effort, in the decision to keep going when it hurts. If you want peace, earn it through discipline. If you want confidence, earn it by facing the challenge. If you want freedom, earn it by mastering yourself. And that starts by saying no to the things that pull you away from your highest self. The couch won't build you. The distraction won't build you. The comfort zone won't build you. What builds you is the decision to show up for yourself. In every moment where comfort is tempting, and you choose to rise instead. So what will it be today? Will you give in to the easy path again, or will you do what's uncomfortable but meaningful? Nobody's going to force you. It's your life, your body, your mind, your future. But understand this. Your choices create your direction. Say no to what softens you. Say no to what numbs you. Say no to what gives you nothing in return, and start saying yes to the kind of pain that produces power. Say yes to the work. Say yes to the effort. Say yes to what builds you. If you can do that, if you can look comfort in the eye and walk away from it on purpose, you'll begin to feel a strength you didn't know you had. You'll start to notice a shift in how you think, how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you handle stress. You'll start to feel proud, not because life is perfect, but because you're finally facing it without flinching. And that pride, that sense of inner power, that is what makes life worth it. Choose growth, choose challenge, choose the discomfort that builds something real inside of you. Every time you do, you step further away from weakness and closer to becoming everything you know you're capable of being. That's how you win. Not all at once, but day by day, decision by decision, Say no to comfort and say yes to becoming who you were meant to be. Number 9, look in the mirror and tell the full truth. Most people avoid the mirror because it tells the truth. Not just the truth about your face or your age or your skin. It tells the truth about who you've become. The person in that mirror knows every excuse you've made. It knows every time you said you would and didn't. It remembers what you started and never finished. It remembers what you promised yourself at midnight and broke by morning. The mirror doesn't lie. And it doesn't care about how much you pretend in front of others. It only reflects what's real. There is something terrifying and powerful about looking straight into your own eyes and saying exactly what's true. Not what sounds good, not what makes you look better, but what's real. That you're not putting in the effort, that you're playing small, that you're afraid of rejection, that you settle too often, that you blame the world instead of fixing what's in your control. The mirror won't let you hide. That's why most people look but don't see. They glance and walk away before the real confrontation begins. But if you want to grow, really grow, you need to start where the pain lives. And that means standing in front of that mirror with courage. Because the truth will hurt before it helps. It will break you down before it lifts you up. But it's the only way out of this cycle of half-lived days and broken intentions. You have to own your story. You have to take a hard look at your habits, your thoughts, your beliefs, and your decisions. You have to be brutally honest about the gap between who you say you are and how you actually live. Telling the full truth means looking at the parts you want to hide. It means admitting that you're not as disciplined as you could be, that you've wasted time, that you've avoided the work, that you've let fear steer your choices. It's not about beating yourself up. It's about refusing to pretend anymore. Because pretending never changed anybody. Pretending might feel better in the moment, but it steals your future. Only truth sets you free. Only truth gives you a place to start. You can't fix what you won't face, and you won't face what you keep lying about. So stop lying. Stop saying I'm doing my best when you know you're holding back. Stop saying I don't have time when you waste hours every day. Stop blaming the past when it's your choices now that are shaping you. Own it. Own every mistake. Own every lazy moment. Own every fear. Because when you own it, you can change it. That's the power of the truth. It puts the responsibility in your hand. The world is filled with people who will lie to you. But the most dangerous lies are the ones you tell yourself. The ones that let you off the hook. The ones that make you feel like a victim instead a fighter. The ones that say, I can't, when you haven't even tried. Those lies don't protect you. They poison you, slowly, quietly, until you don't even recognize the person in the mirror anymore. You want a better life? Start with the truth. Stand in front of that mirror and speak it out loud. Say exactly where you failed. Say exactly where you've fallen short. Say where you've been weak. Say where you've betrayed your potential. And then make it exist. Right there. Right in front of yourself. Decide that the lies stop today. That you will no longer accept half-truths and excuses from yourself. Decide that you will walk forward with eyes wide open and face what needs to be faced. The person who can tell themselves the truth is dangerous. Not in a bad way, in a powerful way. Because they are not distracted. They are not confused. They are not living in delusion. They see what's broken and they fix it. They see what's weak and they strengthen it. They see what's real and they work with it. You can't improve something you won't acknowledge. But the moment you face it, the moment you tell the full truth, that's when everything starts to shift. There is something deeply freeing about confession. When you say the words out loud, when you own what's real, it takes the weight off your chest. You no longer have to pretend. You no longer have to perform. You no longer have to hide behind distractions or fake confidence. You just show up as you are and work from there. That kind of honesty makes you strong, because then your growth is built on solid ground. And the truth isn't always ugly. Sometimes it reminds you of how far you've come. It tells you that you've survived when you didn't think you would. It shows you the courage you had in moments of pain. It reminds you of the strength you carry even when you feel weak. It's not just about mistakes. It's about potential. It's about seeing both sides, who you are and who you could be. The mirror shows both. That's why it matters so much that you look. Most people are too distracted to ever really stop and reflect. They go through their days on autopilot. They react instead of respond. They avoid silence because silence is where truth speaks. But if you could just give yourself 5 minutes every morning or every night, 5 minutes to stand in front of that mirror and tell yourself the full truth, you'd be shocked how much your life could change. You'd start to notice the patterns that need to break. You'd stop running from your problems. You'd stop waiting for someone else to rescue you. You'd start to take yourself seriously. And when you start taking yourself seriously, everything changes. You don't settle as much. You don't waste time like before. You don't tolerate the same negativity. You stop trying to please people who don't even care. You focus. You rise. You build because you've seen who you are and you've told the truth about it. That kind of person doesn't go backward. That kind of person becomes unstoppable. So today, make the choice. Don't hide from yourself anymore. Walk to the mirror. Look into your own eyes. Speak the truth out loud. Even if your voice shakes, even if it hurts, even if it breaks you open, do it anyway. Because that moment will be the turning point. That moment will be the beginning of real change. Not the kind you post online. Not the kind you fake for others, but the kind that lasts, the kind that changes who you are at the core. It's not complicated, it's just uncomfortable, but the truth is worth it, because the truth is your foundation. You build everything on top of it. Strength, discipline, focus, courage. It all starts with honesty. So give yourself that gift. Look in the mirror and tell the full truth. Then go out and become someone who honors it. Number 10, take action daily on one fear you usually avoid. Fear has a way of holding us back like nothing else. It sits quietly in the background, whispering doubts and reasons why not to move forward. Fear keeps us stuck in the same place, day after day, making us smaller than we are capable of being. But the only way to grow is to stare that fear down and take action. Not tomorrow, not someday, but right now. Every single day, face one fear you usually avoid and move through it. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel risky. It might even feel impossible at first. But that discomfort is the sign you are growing. Growth lives in the uncomfortable spaces where fear tries to keep you frozen. The problem is that most people spend a lifetime running from fear. They pretend it's not there. They avoid situations that trigger it. They build walls to keep themselves safe, but trapped. That safety feels like peace, but it's really a cage. No matter how much you avoid fear, it's always waiting for you. And the more you run, the bigger and stronger it grows. So the solution isn't to hide. It's to do the opposite. Meet your fears head on. Choose one fear that you always avoid and do something about it every day. Even if it's small, even if it's scary, that daily action will build your courage muscle stronger than anything else. When you take action on a fear, you're telling yourself a new story. You're telling yourself that you are bigger than your fears, that you are in control, not your anxieties or doubts, that you can handle discomfort and come out stronger. It's not about being fearless. Nobody is fearless. It's about being brave despite the fear. When you act in spite of fear, you build confidence that can't be taken away. You prove to yourself that you are capable. And once you prove it to yourself, everything shifts. Fear often looks bigger in your mind than it is in reality. You imagine the worst case scenarios. You replay past failures over and over. You listen to the voice that says, you can't. But when you push yourself to face that fear, you usually discover it's not as powerful as you thought. The imagined consequences rarely come true, and the worst moments become lessons. That doesn't mean the fear disappears overnight. It means you have started to weaken its grip. You show up again tomorrow and the day after. Every time you choose action, the fear loses strength. Taking daily action on fear isn't about giant leaps. It's about small, consistent steps. If you're afraid to speak up, say one honest sentence to someone. If you avoid exercise because you think you're not fit, do 1 minute of movement. If you fear rejection, send one message or ask one question. These small actions build momentum. They create a pattern. And patterns create change. Soon you're not a person who avoids fear. You're someone who pushes through it. That identity shift is the real goal, because who you believe you are shapes everything you do. The body reacts when you face fear. Your heart races, palms sweat, mind races with doubt. That's normal. That's your survival instinct kicking in. But your mind can learn to override those feelings with action. It's like a muscle. If you ignore fear, it grows. If you confront fear, it shrinks. The more you practice moving forward, even when your body says stop, the more fearless you become. Fear no longer controls your choices. You become the one in charge. There's a deep satisfaction that comes with this kind of bravery. It's a feeling of pride that swells inside your chest. That sense of I did that even when it was hard. That feeling of accomplishment that no one can take from you. That satisfaction feeds your soul and motivates you to keep going. Every time you conquer a fear, you're adding to your collection of victories. Those victories build a foundation of confidence that supports your entire life. One important thing about facing fear is that it teaches you something about yourself. It shows you how strong you really are. It reveals hidden reserves of resilience and determination. It forces you to grow emotionally and mentally. It stretches your comfort zone little by little until it becomes bigger. And when your comfort zone expands, your opportunities expand too. You begin to see possibilities where once you saw limits. You start to believe in yourself more deeply. Taking daily action against fear also changes how you see failure. Failure isn't the enemy anymore. It becomes part of the process. Every failure is just feedback. It's information that helps you improve next time. When fear is no longer a barrier, failure becomes a stepping stone. You learn faster. You grow stronger. You don't quit. That resilience separates successful people from everyone else. Because everyone faces setbacks, but not everyone uses them to push forward. This kind of fearless living requires discipline. It requires making a choice every day not to give in to old habits of avoidance. Some days it will feel exhausting. Some days the fear will scream louder than ever. But that's when discipline wins. That's when your commitment to yourself shows up. It's a battle between your desire to grow and your desire to stay comfortable. Growth wins when you choose to act anyway. Surrounding yourself with people who support your courage makes a big difference too. When you share your struggles and victories with someone who believes in you, it fuels your motivation. It reminds you that you are not alone in facing fear. Sometimes just knowing that someone else understands makes stepping forward easier. Courage is contagious. When you act bravely, you inspire others. Others do the same. You create a ripple effect that spreads beyond yourself. The journey to face fear every day is not easy. It's full of moments when you want to quit. But those moments are tests. They are invitations to prove how badly you want to change. The ones who keep showing up become the ones who break through limits and build extraordinary lives. Fear will always be there, but it doesn't have to stop you anymore. Not if you refuse to let it. Start today. Pick one fear you avoid the most. It might be fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of criticism, or fear of the unknown. Take one small action toward it right now. Feel the discomfort and keep moving forward. Keep showing up and doing the work. Each day that you do, you weaken fear's hold. Each day you become brave. Each day you move closer to the person you want to be. You don't have to be fearless to succeed. You just have to be willing to act in spite of your fears. That willingness will change everything. It will open doors. It will create opportunity. It will build the kind of confidence that nothing can shake. That is the power of daily action on fear. It transforms you from a prisoner of your doubts into a master of your life. So face one fear every day. Make it a habit. Watch how your life begins to change. Watch how your courage grows. Watch how you become unstoppable. Because the person who conquers their fears daily is the person who conquers life.